presence with us now?
Since the other night, it's never left.
Where is it?
Everywhere.
Hello everybody, welcome back to Screenstars. I'm here today to bring you my review for the 2021 horror film The Last Rite, a film that is written and directed by Leroy Kincaid, and it stars Bethan Waller, Johnny Fleming and Kit Smith. Now the film focuses on Bethan Walker's character Lucy, who has recently moved in with her boyfriend Ben, played by Johnny Fleming. And fairly soon after moving in, she's quite sensitive anyway, but some strange things start happening, and she starts questioning whether the house is haunted. She does a little bit of digging, a little bit of investigating. She discovers it might have something linked with sleep paralysis, but the events keep escalating, and she seeks the help and advice of a local priest, Father Roberts. Right, what are my thoughts on The Last Rite? Well, this is a low-budget, UK-based horror film. And when I say low-budget, I don't mean no budget. I think there's a big difference. When you say low-budget, I think there's different scales of low-budget. There's some that are right at the bottom that people have basically just filmed on a camera and put a poster together and put it out almost. And those tend to be like Wild Eye films mostly, that sort of thing, really poor quality. And then there's this kind of low budget, if you like, that's higher up on the scale, that has certainly got some decent production values and some pretty decent actors on board. However, that's not me saying that I think this is a high quality film, because I don't. I think there are issues here with this film. Tonally, for me, it was an odd film tonally, and it was very unbalanced. Now, the first half of the film, or ish anyway, kind of focuses on this sleep paralysis angle. Now, a couple of years ago, 2 or 3 years ago, there was a raft of sleep paralysis films, and I reviewed quite a few of them on the channel, and it's a subject that certainly interests me. I've known people in the past that have suffered with sleep paralysis, and it sounds terrifying. So I do think it can obviously transfer to a good film. Obviously, Nightmare on Elm Street plays with all that kind of stuff as well, to some degree. So it is an interesting subject matter that I think definitely does lend itself to a good horror film. But then this film, it focuses on like a man in a hat sort of thing. Now, if you actually research this, it's an actual real phenomenon with people that suffer with sleep paralysis. They see people in the room, and many of them have described like a man in a hat. And this film plays on that. So that's all well and good. But I think it probably should have stayed in that arena, because the second half of the film becomes the most generic, paint-by-numbers possession film you could ever wish to see. And for me, while it wasn't horrifically bad quality or anything, it literally borrows everything you could imagine from the playbook of possession films. You know, you get the physical performance from the lead actress, Belen Walker, which is what you would expect for a possession film. You get the priest, and they pull out all the Exorcist cliches with him walking to the house, looking up at the window, and all that kind of stuff. And it's just really dull and unoriginal, and it just killed the film for me, because I found the first half of this film to be interesting, and the idea that they're playing on this man in the hat and it could potentially be a demonic spirit, and then what they did with that was so uninteresting and unoriginal. It really, really grinded my gears a little bit, if I'm being honest. And I think the first half of the film deserved better. You get literally, I think they kind of ran out of ideas after the first half of the film and thought, right, give me the paint-by-numbers possession film stuff. You've got the birds flying into doors and being killed and all that kind of stuff. And then, while I do think the performances are fine for the most part, Kit Smith, who plays Father Roberts, I don't think he gives a bad performance, but I think he gives the most priestly performance you've ever seen in a film. Playing this priest, it's too serene. It's too calm. It didn't feel like a real person. Is what I'm trying to say. It didn't feel like a real priest at all. It felt like it was an actor playing what he thought a priest would be like, almost. It's a bit odd to kind of describe, but I just didn't buy that performance. Everyone else was fine in the film. In fact, I thought Bethan Waller and Johnny Fleming, who play the couple who were together, both did an excellent job for the most part. You believed they were a couple, and when the film focused on them and their relationship and the struggles they were going through because of what Lucy was experiencing, I thought that again was when the film was at its strongest. It felt real, and it was pulling you back to real people. And then the second half of the film, it just literally threw every single cliche it could think of at the player. But, looking into mirrors and things start happening, blood coming out of the mouth. And I mean, it was tired and boring and cliched, all that kind of stuff. And I think it ruined potentially what could have been a really fun and interesting play on the sleep paralysis phenomenon, if you like, that they're putting into horror movies, and it didn't become that at all. So I was very, very disappointed with that. And criminally as well, I don't remember being scary. It tries to scare you. There's a couple of scenes where it tries to, put the fear in you and this kind of stuff. I don't remember feeling scared or even tense or even worried watching this film for anybody in it. And that's probably because it leans so heavily into the cliche territory in the second half of the film. I kind of felt myself internally rolling my eyes constantly while watching it. So unfortunately, I think this could have been potentially a 6, even a 7 out of 10 if they'd have really, really gone for what they gave us at the beginning of the film. Ultimately, what we actually got was a 4 out of 10 film because of the terrible cliches that we got at the end of the film. So thank you very much for watching, everybody. I hope you enjoyed this review, and of course I'll be back with plenty more content and reviews on the channel very, very soon.